With so many great RPGs still to come in 2016, in this video we'll be taking a look at the top 10 RPGs coming in the rest of 2016. Let's get right into this. Number 10, God Eater 2 Rage Burst. God Eater for a long time has been a series that hasn't gotten much love in the States. Thanks to Bandai Namco, God Eater and God Eater 2 Rage Burst have come over, the first game having already been released and the second game coming in August. God Eater has its resemblance to a game like Monster Hunter. It features the similar large-scale battles, but at the same time it has its own elements that make it greatly stand out. God Eater 2 Rage Burst releases on August 30th. Number 9, Dragon Quest Builders. Dragon Quest Builders is a sandbox action RPG where you play as a character tasked to rebuild the world after it's destroyed by the Dragonlord. So it's based on the popular Dragon Quest franchise, but obviously it's gonna be much different than your typical Dragon Quest game. The game has a voxel style with gathering and building elements similar to Minecraft and Terraria. If you've been a fan of Dragon Quest for the last decade, this probably wasn't the game that you were hoping for. However, Dragon Quest Builders still has a lot of potential. Keep your eye on it. It releases sometime in 2016. Number 8, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. While this isn't Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 does include brand new content to fans. First of all, it'll come with a high-definition remaster of Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, which was a great 3DS game and is actually very consequential to the story. The collection will also include Kingdom Hearts X Black Clover that tells a new tale in HD cinematics. And finally, there is Kingdom Hearts Point 2 Birth by Sleep: A Fragmentary Passage, which is an all-new game that takes place after the events of Birth by Sleep from the perspective of Aqua. The collection releases in December. Number 7, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. South Park: The Fractured But Whole is the follow-up to South Park: The Stick of Truth, which was a fantastic RPG released on last-generation platforms. Very few were expecting a licensed South Park game that was an RPG to be anything special, but what a great game it was. It retained all the witty humor of South Park while also offering a very competent RPG. Now we have the sequel, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. You will once again play as the new kid, and you can once again expect a hilarious and witty RPG. Keep in mind that if you also pre-order the game, you'll get an HD remaster of South Park: The Stick of Truth, so that's very great as well. The game releases on December 6th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh boy, you're not even on Instagram, huh? Well, I guess I can create one for you. Fucking unbelievable. Let's see.
So the first thing we need to fill out on your character sheet is your class.
Number 6, Nioh. Nioh is being developed by Team Ninja and the game has been in works for a while now. It was originally announced back in 2004 and it went MIA for over 10 years, and then it was finally re-revealed at TGS of last year. The game follows the story of William, a samurai during the Warring States period of Japan in the 1600s. When you look at Nioh, you're gonna realize it bears a lot of resemblance to Dark Souls in aesthetics and gameplay. Gameplay especially, a lot of the combat seems very reminiscent of Dark Souls. Regardless, samurais in a Dark Souls environment sounds like a pretty good game, and we haven't gotten a lot of samurai-themed games in recent memory, so hopefully this turns out pretty good. We don't have an exact release date yet, but the game will be coming exclusively to the PlayStation 4. Number 5, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. Skyrim is one of the most iconic games of the last decade. The hype leading up to the game, the lasting appeal that the game retained. It's been one of the most prominent games in gaming culture since its release. It was a great game, but on consoles it featured a litany of performance issues. Especially on the PlayStation 3, the game was an absolute nightmare. Now we've got Skyrim Special Edition with upgraded visuals, all of the DLC content, and mod support. The only drawback is, yes, this is an HD remaster, but it will come at a full retail price of $60. Now, even at the $60 price point, you gotta remember that this is the base game, all of the DLC, and it's got mod support, so I imagine to many it will be well worth it. The game comes to PS4, PC, and Xbox One on October 28th. Number 4, Tyranny. Tyranny is a very unique RPG being developed by Obsidian. It takes place in a high fantasy world where the Overlord has taken over the land by force. You play as the Fatebinder, one of the Overlord's higher ranked soldiers, and tasked to travel the world to restore order, reduce conflict, and maintain the Overlord's rule. When you start up the game, you'll be given several different choices in what was the Fatebinder's role during the Overlord's takeover. These choices will impact the game's world and how NPCs see and react to you. Tyranny has potential to be one of the best RPGs of the year. We still don't have an exact release date, but it'll be out this year exclusive to PC.
As the final conquest draws near, you can institute the law from above.
Number 3, Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Over the last many years, Mount & Blade has become one of the PC's most prominent series, and finally we're getting another entry in Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. And this game looks to be taking the series to a whole other level. From content to presentation, this is a gigantic step up for the franchise, with better shading, higher detail, more realistic character animations, and so much more. Gameplay looks much more grandiose and variety, and the world is much more living. Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord has the potential to take the series to the next level. And after this game's release, expect Mount & Blade to really become one of the most popular gaming series in all of gaming. The game still doesn't have an exact release date, hopefully we'll see it in some form before the year's out. Number 2, Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is one of the most anticipated JRPGs ever. It's been in development for so long, dating back to 2006 with its initial reveal as Final Fantasy Versus 13. The game has seen a long road, but that's been very publicized, so we'll avoid talking about that. Let's talk about Final Fantasy 15 in its current incarnation. It's a technical benchmark on consoles. From detail to lighting to design, it's all outstanding. The scale of the game is enormous. You can beat the main story in 40 to 50 hours, but to do everything it'll take you around 200 hours. Gameplay is more actiony than previous Final Fantasy games, much more like Kingdom Hearts rather than Final Fantasy, but it's a change that really works, and in the Duske demo, the gameplay worked really well. The only thing we hope for is a good story. That was the main issue in prior FF games, but the foundation for FF15's story looks good. Hopefully the writing and the consistency with the plot will be up to par. Final Fantasy 15 releases on September 30th for PS4 and Xbox One.
Can restore the light. The throne.
Number 1, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. After 5 years, the follow-up to Deus Ex Human Revolution is finally here. Mankind Divided is set 2 years after Human Revolution, and once again you play as Adam Jensen. The general premise of Deus Ex is largely intact from Human Revolution, but many refinements have been made. There's more options and upgrades and augmentations, and once again, just like in Human Revolution, you can tackle the game however you want it. Whether it's hacking, stealth, combat, it's to the point where you can beat the entire game, including the boss battles, without killing a single enemy. The combat is one area where Deus Ex Human Revolution was kind of weak on, so one of Eidos Montreal's goal with Mankind Divided was to make the combat as good as the stealth. Have they accomplished that? Who knows? We'll find out on August 23rd when Mankind Divided releases for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Engaging them with modified firearms, explosive nanoblades, and using my Titan shield to negate their counterfire as I roll through like a reinforcement.
So that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 RPGs for the rest of 2016. What do you think? Which games are you the most excited for? Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.